Don't forget, ko-fi.com/stopwritingalone is a real simple way to show your support for what's going on here week after week. Hi everyone, this is Nicole Rivera and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast for writers who are looking for their writing community. I know you want to find readers for your work, but I think your first step is to connect with other writers. That's what we're going to do here in the Stop Writing Alone podcast. We'll do writing prompts and other writing group activities, discover online writing communities, learn how to find local writing groups, or how to make your own. Join us as we explore, learn, and write. Hi, this is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast. This week's episode is sponsored by Diana Gunn and Business for Authors. Are you ready to start taking your author career seriously? Diana Gunn has spent the past decade helping businesses improve their branding and marketing. And now she's bringing that knowledge to help authors like you. Sign up for her Business for Authors newsletter at businessforauthors.com. to receive a free author career planning workbook, bi-weekly business tips for authors, discounts on author services, and more. That's businessforauthors.com. Now let's get started with this week's episode. Hi guys, so the end of the year is here. And some people are thinking, reflecting upon, how the year has gone. Some people are looking ahead and starting to think about what's going to happen next, what is in store for not only the new year, but the new decade. I mean, it's going to be 2020. This is pretty amazing. And there's been this conversation that's been going on online that I think we need to address here. You have 2 weeks left till the end of this year, and here's my message. To all of you aspiring writers out there, enough is enough. You need to quit it. If you call yourself an aspiring writer, I'm giving you 2 weeks to cut it out. No more aspiring writers. And for all of the Stop Writing Alone community, I would encourage you to find the aspiring writers in your circles and get them to quit as well. Now, somebody got me to quit years and years ago, and I've kind of told this story here and there on the podcast, and definitely in one-on-one conversations with many of you. But as you know, my entry into writing community started on Twitter. When I had started blogging, I found my way over to Twitter as a way to sort of network with other bloggers. And one of the things that I had in my profile when I set it up was that I was an aspiring writer. And somebody called me on it in a writing chat. I said, it's great to meet you. I checked out your blog. I see that you're writing all the time. But I also see in your profile you wrote that you're an aspiring writer. You need to take that out. And I could not wrap my head around it. And I said, what do you mean? I was already feeling all types of imposter syndrome, having been a math major, not having taken any creative writing courses. At the time, really thinking like, do I explore the idea of an MFA just so I can write a blog? I had all of this doubt around whether or not I could actually call myself a writer. And here's this guy saying, I need to take it out of my profile. But then he went on to explain that what he really meant, and this is what I really mean to you, aspiring writer out there, is that if you are writing, there is no aspiration in it at all. You're a writer. And again, I know I've said this before, but I've been seeing it pop up on Twitter. I saw it on one of my Facebook writing communities that many writers are still doing this, calling themselves an aspiring writer or a wannabe writer. And the writing community has been rising up in a chant to say, stop calling yourself an aspiring writer. So I figured it was worth the conversation, worth an episode focus of talking about this in case there's anyone out there listening who's still doing this. Now, you could be an aspiring author, an aspiring bestseller, but if you are doing the action of writing, then you're not an aspiring writer. If you are, in fact, by definition, an aspiring writer, someone who is thinking about it but not doing anything about it, then I challenge you to take action immediately. There is nothing required but a pen and paper or a computer, or if you're listening on your phone right now, you can write on your phone. You have to start doing in order to feel your true purpose. I just finished listening to the audiobook, The Third Door, and it's a fascinating book. It's a fantastic story of this young guy in college. He's 19 years old. He's staring at the ceiling. I don't really want to study. I don't really want to do this pre-med thing. There's got to be another way. And he starts exploring reading biographies of people that he admires, and he stumbled upon like Bill Gates, a biography, and I forget who were some of the first people that he read in the beginning, and he's like, well, they didn't really do the traditional college thing. They just went out there and did things. And the whole premise, the third door, that Alex Banayan wrote the book Third Door. So the whole premise of the Third Door is that he says, going into our life, going into our whole dream is like getting into a club. And we all know about the first door, the line that we wait on, and we have to see the bouncer, and hopefully we can get there, and we'll be waiting on a line all the way around the corner. And that's the traditional way that most of us go about getting to our dream, our career, our purpose in life. We just we go through the motions. We wait on the line. We check in with the bouncer. We wear the right outfits. We follow the rules and hope that we get into the club. There is, of course, the second door that some people are privileged enough to get into the VIP entrance, and that could come from like family connections, knowing somebody, what have you, that you can bypass at least some of the line in order to get right into the club. But Alex, after interviewing many of these people that he admired, which is what happened, that 19-year-old sitting in his college room was like, I'm going to go find these people and ask them, how do we do the things we want to do? And he went around interviewing so many different powerful people of our time and came up with his theory of the third door. And that is, you want to get into this club? Yeah, you can wait online. Or you can know someone and go in the VIP entrance. Or you can find the third door. And there's always a third door, whether it's running around into the back alley, bashing your way through the kitchen, squeezing through some open window that no one knows about. There are other ways to hustle your way through. And that was such an amazing book and story to read. But in the conclusion, one of the great quotes at the end of the book, he goes through this entire journey himself, trying to figure out where he can get this book published, how he can get this mission of his completed, of getting this story out to the world. And he comes to a point where he says, when you change what you believe is possible, you change what becomes possible. And it's, it's reminiscent of one of my favorite quotes of, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you will always be right. So his quote again is, when you change what you believe is possible, you change what becomes possible. So aspiring writers, stop believing that you're just aspiring and just start doing. Quit it. Quit the aspirations. Just start believing that you are a writer, because if you are putting words on paper, if you are typing words into a computer, if words are coming out of your creative space in your mind and being printed in some form for someone else to capture, then it's possible. It's not only possible, it's factual. You are a writer. So that's my big message for the end of 2019. No more aspiring writers in the new decade. You either are or you are not. And it is completely up to you. For everyone that's already known this, that's been doing their writing, if you've had a week where you're feeling a bit of imposter syndrome, maybe you haven't gotten all the words you wanted, maybe something you submitted didn't get accepted, or there was a critique that went sideways, just remember, when you change what you believe is possible, you change what becomes possible. So don't sit in that space of doubt or feeling like an imposter. Own your space in this world. You are a writer. You're doing the work. Rejection is part of it. Critique is part of it. It's all part of it. So enjoy the ride. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the Stop Writing Alone podcast wherever you're listening to this episode today. Then connect with us on Facebook at Stop Writing Alone Facebook page, or in the Stop Writing Alone with Nicole Rivera Facebook group. Check Instagram or Twitter, where I'm at NV_Rivera, to find links to our email newsletter.